Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now December 31st of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Bad Batch, a lot of fans have really been looking forward to other TV shows out there, like The Mandalorian Season 3, The Bad Batch Season 2, as well as let's not forget about the Kenobi TV series and Ahsoka Tano. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So we're now in a very interesting phase of Star Wars, given that the Book of Boba Fett is now out and released on Disney+. A lot of people have had mixed reactions on the first episode, but I do believe that it's going to build up to something greater. We're not going to be spoiling anything in this video, but one thing that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are really engaged in is really building up this Mandoverse. And not just the Mandoverse, which by the way are all the TV shows post-Return of the Jedi, but they're also focusing on everything that comes in between, before, or after. So basically, ever since Jon and Dave got those promotions over at Lucasfilm, they've had a lot of influence, they've had a lot more control, and the ability to call more shots over some of the Star Wars lore of the new Star Wars material, give it books, novels, comics, video games, TV shows, or movies, whatever it may be. Jon and Dave do now have more influence over all of that, which is good news because that means there's going to be more consistency, it's going to have a better flow, and I think that's exactly what you need for a franchise like this. However, when it all dwindles down to the character of Luke Skywalker, right, this is a very well-respected character, and a character that you have to be very careful with. You know, if you guys ever watched the Mandalorian Season 2 finale special, they talk about all of this about Luke, of how they really wanted to be very careful and how they created that balance of how much Luke they should really use in Mando Season 2, how much is too much, how much is too little. They did a fantastic job. So, with that being said, alright, what's really exciting is that with Kathleen Kennedy currently having issues with the Acolyte TV series for Disney+, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively developing their new Star Wars TV shows and movies that are planned to arrive in the next couple of years. However, it's described that as of right now, Jon Favreau is making some big adjustments to the Star Wars franchise at heart. One major development that is happening by both Favreau and Filoni has to do with the fact that a massive scene is planned for The Mandalorian Season 4 that is currently in the early development phase. This scene is planned to involve a full-blown Luke Skywalker scene where he will be suited up in High Republic armor of the Star Wars universe to fight against a new minor villain that holds connections to Mandalore. Now, apart from that, it's described that this fight is going to be one of many fights for Luke in both Mando Season 3, Ahsoka, and Season 4 of Mando, plus others and other Star Wars TV shows as well. The sequence is set to take place in front of an ancient Jedi temple on a world that has some kind of floating cliffs, similar to what was seen in Disney's Avatar on Pandora. This world is said to be very Pandora-esque, with both Luke and this new villain fighting against each other in a unique duel that involves Luke's green lightsaber going up against some kind of new weapon that can withstand a lightsaber. So let me just stop right here for a second. So, Jon and Dave, it's all about kind of advancing the franchise and really evolving everything moving forward, right? The fact that they are going to be doing such a thing where they're going to be experimenting with Luke Skywalker's design and his overall look in some of these shows, that's also another interesting thing to kind of create more merchandise. It's also another interesting thing to kind of experiment with, you know, what kind of limitations does Luke have? Or what can he do to break those limitations? And that's exactly what they are exploring in The Mandalorian Season 4 for this one specific scene where he's going to fight up against this character that has a lot of connections to Mandalore. And we're going to be getting to that a little bit later, but one thing about Luke Skywalker that a lot of fans need to know is that post-Return of the Jedi Luke is very important to handle respectfully and carefully. Because if you look at Legends, you know, we know that there are a lot of good things that came out of Legends, but there's also some aspects in there where it took things a little bit too far to the point where it seemed a little unrealistic for the character of Luke, right? I know some of you guys out there might agree with that. So that's basically what Jon and Dave are doing, creating that balance of how far Luke can really go, right? So moving on from all of that, all right, what's even all the more exciting is that, however, it's said to not only be the it's said to not be the Darksaber, and something completely new that will be explored in the Disney canon of Star Wars. George Lucas is said to be in charge of this scene and how the choreography will be performed between Luke and the new foe that is currently codenamed Vice. The codenamed character is said to hold some form of significance to the character that is actually yet to be known, but Luke will be wielding High Republic armor that once belonged to a Jedi that he discovered during his travels of finding hidden Jedi lore throughout the entire galaxy. So once again, you can see that this is Jon and Dave staying consistent with what Luke did in the Legends material, where he went on this quest, many different quests, mind you, to find Jedi lore and to kind of preserve it all, and to even kind of, look into all of the vaults of Palpatine that is currently in the Disney canon. So we have these two sides of Luke, hunting down Palpatine's vaults and really kind of extracting all of that Sith lore to kind of keep it from anybody else picking up from Palpatine's ways. But we also have that side of Luke where he goes on all these adventures with Lor San Tekka, finding Jedi lore, finding Jedi armor, Jedi weapons, whatever have you, right? And kind of just really gaining better knowledge about the past. And you do learn a little bit more about this in some of the visual dictionaries of the films, though it is minimal. They do tell you about all of that. So, moving past this, alright, this is where things begin to advance a little bit. So, this in turn will lead Favreau and Filoni to experimenting more kinds of fights between Luke and others. Luke is not expected to wear this High Republic armor for the majority of Season 4, and it's only intended for a scene to go up against the warrior that holds some form of a connection to Mandalore from the past. What kind of connection is unclear, but it's said to be of great value to the Star Wars lore within the Mandoverse. Now, additionally, Jon Favreau is planning on doing a Luke Skywalker recast, especially for Mando Season 4, which will be the last season of Mandalorian as a series. The fight sequence between Luke and Vice is described to be very fast-paced and similar to the fight sequences that fans witnessed in Episode 2 between Anakin and Dooku, as well as Kenobi and Maul in Episode 1. The choreography will be very prequel-esque, and it will have very prequel-esque moves that Luke will master at the end of the series that will create a brand new layer for the character to be explored in the long run. So that's the thing I like about Jon Favreau, is that he's paying attention to what was done in the prequel trilogy when it came to choreography and how they can best apply that to a post-Return of the Jedi era. And by utilizing that and really kind of experimenting that in the proper way, that's when you get to really kind of dive more into the character and his limits. And I like that. I like the fact that they are kind of giving us this new version of Luke. Thankfully, they are kind of trying to do their best that they can in order to really experiment. If you look into Legends, there's many forms of Luke where he sports all different kinds of armor and attire, and that's exactly what they're now doing with Star Wars as a whole, especially with the Mandoverse. Now, the Star Wars universe in general, it's going to really kind of experiment with that in the long run with other characters like Ahsoka, Kenobi, Anakin, and more. We already know that there are a lot of scenes planned for the Kenobi series where it's said to jump back to the Clone Wars era and kind of giving us that live-action version of both Anakin and Kenobi in their Clone Wars armor. So it's going to be similar to that in a sense for Luke in Mando Season 4, where he finds these, pieces of armor from the past and wears it. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.